To the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. Today is August 15, 2023. It's 3:00 p.m. Please silence all cell phones. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the county boardroom. We'll call the meeting to order. We have present today Commissioners Kelly, Klug, Warren, Mixon, and Burmeister, along with our County Administrator Dan Hoynes, our County Clerk Deb Hotelling, our County Assessor Dan Pittman, and our Deputy County Treasurer Dan Telekas. Will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to the consent equalization agenda. Would anyone like to see any items removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.1 is minutes from August 8, 2023. Deb Hotelling, County Clerk, Register of Deeds.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Don. Commissioner Kelly, do you want to abstain on that one? You weren't here. That's why we moved it.
Oh, I wasn't here?
You weren't here for that one.
That's okay, I'm pulling forward anyways.
Okay, you go right ahead. Yeah. Anything you want.
You know why? Because I trust these guys. They got it right.
And you read them.
Hey, I trust you.
No.
So
That's good.
I'm going to note that for the future, though.
I'll abstain. Thanks for reminding me, though.
yeah, we just undid all these. Okay, so you're gonna be nice and abstain. All right, hold on. There we go. Okay, Ayes 4, abstain, Kelly. Thank you.
Item 5.2 is protest hearing, special valuation application, Form 456, disapproval for parcel 010397396, Brandon Kinnan. Anyone who is, thank you, Dan.
Dan Pittman, Sarpy County Assessor's Office. Good afternoon. This is a special valuation application that was actually from Flatwater Consulting, and we denied the application based upon what was sent to the assessor's office, and then we sent an appraiser out there on Monday to look at it to make sure that we're making the correct decision, and there was no agricultural use. So.
Any questions for Dan?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Can we pull up the parcel, the map of GIS?
Would you like some pictures that were taken the other day?
What's that?
Would you like some pictures of everything that was taken the other day? Because these are more current than that. Do you know how to do this overhead? No overhead?
What do you got?
Can you pull the overhead out? Or?
Yeah, there's no overhead.
Okay.
Well, the reason I want to pull it up is because I looked at it on GIS and
Actually,
so
Commissioner
I
Kelly,
want
what
to
you
see the
there?
map so that, because my question will reference some of the properties close by.
I gotta pull up the map too. Hey, I'm used to pulling up sarpy.gov, but there's not an icon for just sarpy.gov. I want to go to look up. Okay, great, thank you. And then I just lay a document down underneath that. Okay. I'm gonna try one, see if it works.
So while we're waiting for that, what is the criteria for special valuation in Sarpy County?
The land has to be,
5 acres, right? Greater than 5 acres?
it's not for Sarpy County, it's for Nebraska, because Nebraska law. The
Okay.
land has to be agricultural land, and agricultural land be land that's used for the commercial production of agricultural product. When we say commercial production, there has to be trade going on. So,
Okay, something about 5 acres sticks in my mind, though. What was that? Was that for
That's a-
agricultural property inside a ETJ, or?
no, that's, that law was just changed. They don't look at the
They
acres
no
anymore.
longer have a stipulation for must be 5 acres, so you could have an acre and get
acre.
special valuation if you're beekeeping or something like that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So aside from what I read in the agenda item on what was put on the application, I just went and looked at aerial photos, and it sure looks agricultural to me. It had soybeans planted in the field.
I just,
But I mean, I don't know how old the pictures are.
it's old, it's 18 months old. These pictures are 2 days old.
Did it have special valuation last year?
I did, actually had a crop on it last year. This one come up. Oh.
Well, if those pictures are only 2 years old, is that the first time we went out and looked at the site?
Nope.
Then why didn't we take pictures when we went and looked at
The
the
aerial is 18 months old. These photos were taken a couple days ago.
I know, but the valuation was rejected more than 2 days ago.
Yeah, we actually used that aerial to reject it, and the taxpayer did not provide enough information.
Okay, well, let's look at the aerials.
Sure, there we go. Is this going to transfer over to this? Right there. It would be, I think it's 11
Okay, I
bid.
think it'd be that property right to the left of that little commercial site there on the, below Pan, it's really underneath the X there, the little tax parcel box, if you could get rid of that. So that's Fairview Road on the north side, and you really can't see it, but just to the left of, move your cursor over. At least unless I looked at the wrong property. Which property is it?
This one right here, where the box around it.
Okay, so what's different about the aerial photo today that you want to point out?
Actually, it looks very much the same when I look at the ground level photo. It's just scattered trees. There's, if you look at, if this works and you can look at the photos, you'll see that there's some dirt work has happened. Someone's graded across it and then let it sit and the weeds grew up where it was graded. The person claims that they're going to eventually put trees on it and make it a nursery.
And that property did not have special valuation last year, or it did?
No, it still had it last year.
And so what was the granting of it based on last year that's different from
I
this
believe
year?
last year, whoever owned it before was paying it, if I remember correctly. Would you like to see these?
Thank you, yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Dan.
What happened? New technology?
Does anyone else have questions for Dan?
So what was the date on this photo that we're looking at here?
I think it's the 18th, is that? You guys have them.
It's like the 14th
14th.
Yeah.
No,
2014?
8/14, excuse me, the 14th.
of 2023.
So yesterday.
Oh, you mean on the screen?
On GIS.
I don't know what year the GIS is. You guys know? Spring of 22.
2022? Okay, well, again, just as a casual observer, I don't see anything in those pictures that looks a lot different from what I'm seeing on this 2022 photo when special valuation was granted. Clearly, the land probably to the west of it's special valuation, the land next to it probably isn't, and then the The other land just to the west of that is probably special valuation. So I'm not quite sure that why he was singled out for not having, is it just because the application was incorrect? It changed owners or
Ownership changed.
what?
Ownership changed.
Okay, and the application was incorrect.
Right, and the county assessor at any time can go out and revalue any land, ask for more information about how the land's being used. That can happen at any time.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Dan?
And when asked, he said he's going to plant trees there. When asked, he said he was going to plant trees.
If the agenda's up, you can see a picture of the application that it shows you what he stated he was going to do. And I talked to him on the phone. He wasn't doing any of that yet. But when he starts doing that, we're interested in seeing it. When you do something like trees, if you're doing like an orchard, we understand that you don't get apples or whatever the first year. It takes many years. So.
Again, just an opinion, and probably not an educated one at that. But we give special valuation to people with 5 acres and a bale of hay in their front yard, all over the county. We've done that for the whole time I've been on the board. So picking winners and losers is a pretty imprecise game, especially when it's so subjective. So I would like to see a little bit more structure and how we do that, and this just seems arbitrary to me.
We get the state law and they say this is as far as you can go with it. We have a questionnaire we use in Sarpy County to try and tighten the process up a bit. So we ask them some real specific questions so they can't be gray about things.
Yeah.
So we do that much, but statutorily, that's the extent of our authority.
Okay.
Is Mr. Kinnon here?
No, he's not.
Okay. Any other questions for Dan?
Well, I have one, and it triggers in my head. So explain the process on a change of ownership, because it's always a snapshot, right, Dan, of one point in time, and it's usually the first of the year. Is that correct?
No, all values are set as of the first of the year. It takes you all year long looking at properties to see them all the ones you need to see. So we might look at a property in the middle of the year or something like that.
So,
because I knew this was before the board, we sent someone out there because these questions are going to be asked.
right. So in something we did not too long ago, the snapshot, you brought it up, it was at the beginning of the year is when the value is set at that point, January 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was storm damage, and then that changed that. So what I'm asking here, what changes this from the first of the year? The change of ownership?
No, my statement is this is the situation it was in at the first of the year. If you take this aerial that is older than a year and our inspection from yesterday, they're the same. So,
When did Mr. Canaan purchase the ground?
I would have to have the record pulled up so I could look at if there's a reference to the deed date.
It was mid-2022.
I'm sorry?
Mid-2022.
Okay,
So the ownership was not this year, it was last year. Ownership change.
Mid-year. So Dan, just for, go
I
ahead,
just
Gary.
need to go back, and because this doesn't seem consistent to me. We had an issue where there was storm damage, and the damage wasn't fixed as of January 1. So that person is going to get a deduction in assessed value because as of January 1, the house still wasn't fixed. So now I know the house had to be repaired within 1 year. The storm was June 5th of 2022. So they had till June 5th of 2023. As of January 1, 2023, there was damage. So we lowered the assessed value of that property. Obviously, before January 5th of 2023, the roof was fixed. So did you send somebody else out there and then you change it back up? I'm just, because,
I'm just not with you. You're talking about storm damage. There are certain statutes for damaged real property that we follow when it comes to.
I'm talking about how we determine what's assessed value if we can change it at any time during the year. It was stated to me that assessed value is set as of January 1.
Right.
But now you're telling me you can go in and change it at any point in time in the year if you go look at the property. Is that correct?
No.
Commissioner Mixon, if I may, there are certain statutes that allow for review of the properties during the year. Agricultural valuation is one. However, agricultural valuation, I believe, is if the assessor determines during the course of the year that it's no longer in use, that special valuation will still apply through the end of the year, and it will change as of the first of the next year.
Okay. So,
But it is specific
so
to
there's
those.
only limited things that can be looked at
Correct.
throughout the year.
Yes.
What other ones would they be?
Change of ownership in exemptions or change of use in exemptions if it happens before a certain date on the calendar. There are damaged property statutes, meaning that if there is an act of nature that causes damage to a property after the first, that can trigger a review. That's only triggered by an act of nature, though. So it's just very fact-specific situations.
Right. Okay, that helps. Thank you.
So just for clarity, looking at the photos, it doesn't appear that there's any agricultural use there. On the application, it does say that the plant's going to be grown, trees, shrubs, and perennials. So effectively, if he does start planting those for agricultural purposes, you go out there next year, he then can qualify for the exemption. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
To approve the exemption?
To accept the assessor's recommendation.
Motion to accept the assessor's recommendation made by Commissioner Klug. Is there a second? I'll second it for purposes of discussion. I do have a question for council. The application, originally it was an application for special evaluation, then it looks like a protest of the actual value. So if we go with the assessor's determination, that can be appealed to Turk?
It depends on how the board wants to take the letter. If you take it as a protest of the denial of special valuation, the motion is to accept the recommendation of the assessor and to deny the special valuation. That denial would be protested, could be appealed to Turk. Alternately, I believe based on the contents of the letter that it appears he's trying to protest his underlying property valuation for his improvement instead of the special valuation, in which case it was untimely filed. The board can make the determination that it was untimely filed and that it does not have jurisdiction, say, to hear the merits of the case. That decision could be appealed to Turk as well.
If we rule on the special valuation application, well, let me say it in the reverse. If we review that we don't have jurisdiction, then we don't give the appeal right on the special valuation issue, correct?
That would be correct.
Okay.
But theoretically, looking at the letter, it doesn't appear that he actually protested the special valuation, so that would be why it's not appealable.
Okay.
May I add something?
Yes, please do.
A fact, the property record is probably on your screen, just like I'm seeing it up here in front of me now. There's a detail that's pretty important. In the middle there's a box called assessment data. And if you drop below, you see neighborhood GACR. And below it says Greenbelt area, Greenbelt date. So what this record says is this was not an agricultural special valuation in 2022. So it had already been taken out, and this new owner is applying to get Greenbelt, to get it put into Greenbelt. And I think that's significant because it was not in Greenbelt last year.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Is it crystal clear to everyone? All right. It's been moved and seconded to accept the assessor's recommendation. Any discussion? Please vote.
Okay. A's, hold on. A's, Klug, Burmeister, and Mixon. Nays, Kelly and Warren. Motion carries.
Item 5.3 is public hearing and action, tax exemption applications, Form 451 for Southridge Church of the Assemblies of God for tax exemption on real and personal property by qualifying organizations. Dan Pittman, assessor.
Southridge Church purchased 5 lots south of Cornhusker Highway. When they filed their original application, there was not enough evidence there to give them an exemption. I recommended denial. The county board upheld the denial. Legal counsel informed Southridge Church that they still had time to refile if they wanted to supply new information, and they did. Based upon what they supplied since then, I'm recommending approval of the applications.
Okay, questions for Dan before we move on to the public hearing? Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, good afternoon. David Levy, Baird Home Law Firm, 1700 Farnham Street, Omaha. On behalf of Southridge Church, really just here to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Levy? Okay, I will close the public
Thank you.
hearing. Anybody else want to speak on behalf of the public hearing?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Close the public hearing. Motion by Commissioner Warren to approve, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion?
Just a comment, and I do plan to vote for this, but here again, back to the subjectivity of a determination whether this is tax exempt or not. I have no doubt that these people do everything they say they do. Just like I have no doubt that that guy out in Gretna, west of Gretna, is growing trees. Why I can just arbitrarily say no to him and yes to this request, it just illustrates how screwed up the Board of Equalization process is. So congratulations on your exemption. I'm sure you're going to win this, and I'm happy for your congregation and your church, and for the favorable tax treatment you're about to receive.
Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.4 is public hearing and action, tax exemption application Form 451 for Bellevue University for tax exemption on real and personal property by qualifying organizations. Dan Pittman, assessor.
Bellevue University extended their campus, and so they're welcome by a certain date to file after January 1st for an exemption. This piece of land is in the university's use, except for one spot that has a little bit of land that's devoted to a cell tower. That land is assessed by the county. That tower is assessed by the state, is centrally assessed. So the assessor is recommending approval of this exemption application.
Questions for Dan? This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to be heard from the public on this action? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.5 is public hearing and action, tax exemption applications, Form 451 for Restauración con Poder. We'll work on my
You did
Spanish a
better than I
little
on
more.
that. It's a Latino church, Christian church. You had already approved the exemption application on it. Once it went to the state noticed there was not a box filled out that they wanted filled out. And so we made sure that that was completed to the state's satisfaction. And then they thought it was proper that it be resubmitted to the county board so they could vote on it again. So there's real no material change, it's just making the application correct.
Any questions for Dan? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public want to be heard? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Anyone have a motion?
Motion approved. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.6 is tax correction 17193, tabled from June 6th and 2023. Dan Pittman, assessor.
This one is a reduction to a homestead. So it's one of those things where the state has stepped in and they needed more time to work on this one. And they adjusted their percentages. So instead of 100% exemption, it went to 90.
Any questions for Dan?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.7 is tax corrections 17247 to 17250. Dan Pittman, assessor.
PayPal, Best Buy, and Sarpy OBGYN all either sold their businesses or closed up. And when they do that, you have to accelerate their personal property tax, and that's what we've done.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned and will reset for the Board of Commissioners.
Hold on just a minute. All right, hold on. Give me 1 minute. Sure. Okay.
Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's August 15, 2023 at 3:27 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. We have present today Commissioners Kelly, Klug, Warren, Mixon, and Burmeister, along with our County Administrator Dan Hoynes and our County Clerk Deb Hotelling. We're going to start with Commissioner Administrator announcements and comments. And I wanted to start by pointing out that there was a tragedy in our jail and the death of Juan Pham. The board sends thoughts and prayers to his family. The matter is under investigation. We also wanted to send our support and prayers to the officers and staff working in the jail at this difficult time. We'll start with Commissioner Kelly.
No comment.
No comments, thank you.
Just those that missed the PAYS program prior to this, it was a great ceremony that was conducted by the Nebraska National Guard, and we're proud to be partners with them.
No comment.
And then I just have one other comment. I saw that the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office and Sarpy County JJC were honored with I think CALIA is the proper enunciation. It's Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. The purpose of the accreditation was improvement of public service and maintaining and following comprehensive law enforcement standards, including best practices on use of force, training, and internal affairs investigations. We just wanted to congratulate the Sheriff's Office and the JJC and the individuals there who worked hard to meet that criteria on receiving the award and for their hard work in providing public service here in Sarpy County. So appreciate all the hard work. We will move on to the consent commissioner's agenda. Anybody want to see any items removed from the consent agenda, or I'd entertain a motion to approve if not?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.1 is minutes, August 8, 2023, Deb Hotelling, Clerk, Register of Deeds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Where'd you go? Don, you need to vote. Where's he at? Donald, are you voting?
Sorry.
Thank you. Ace 4 abstain, Kelly.
Item 5.2 is Resolution 2023-260, interlocal cooperation agreement with Sanitarian Improvement District, SID 358, R&R Commerce Park South for road improvements to South 156th Street and Sunburst Drive. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. Again, this is an interlocal agreement with SID number 358. You can see the map up there showing R&R Commerce Park South's development. The blue line is Phase 1 segment of 156th Street. That was completed last year. And so this is an interlocal to complete the yellow portion of the map, which is to extend 156th Street, 2 lanes from Sunburst Drive to the south property line of R&R Commerce Park. R&R Commerce Park, we talk a lot about the data centers that we have out there, tremendous growth. We also have a lot of industrial and warehouse growth that's happening as well. And so it's a good mixture of, businesses out there. And R&R Commerce has been a good partner. They continue to move fast to build more facilities. And I think it's public. They do control some property to the south for future expansion as well. As the board knows, in this area, we're working with a consulting firm to look at the ultimate road network between Highway 50 and 168th Street, Schramm Road, and Platteview Road. And most of the development, most of the property that's east of 156th Street has developed. Once the sewer agency completes the construction of their project, that'll open up a lot of the area west of 156th Street. So really critical for us to get this road network in. And as the board knows, we always do that, or most of the time we do that with partnerships with development. What's being built is 2 lanes of 156th Street, the property to the west. When that comes online, we'll add the 3rd lane in that area. R&R Commerce Park is the lead on this project, and they have received a really attractive bid on this project, and so we expect them to complete the construction by the end of this year. Pat Sullivan, who represents R&R, is here as well if you have questions for him, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the project.
Questions for Scott or for Pat?
How's that area be served by sewer? Is it going to go through the Springfield Creek there, or?
It will. So if you look at this kind of drainage basin, R&R Commerce Park South essentially ate up the last of our capacity in the existing lift station that we have at Highway 50 and Fairview Road that pumps to the north. When the sewer agency comes online, we'll actually abandon the lift station and the force main, and the sewer agency will be able to open up all this area, Commissioner, that will then flow south through a gravity line past Springfield, the area that's already been constructed, down to the force main south of Springfield that'll then be pumped to the east. So this is really the last development that was able to come online. I think this site here is under development, but here at the end of this year or early next, when the sewer agency has the full line in place, all of this area will be opened up for additional sewer.
So that's all dependent on the funding for the phase, whatever, for the sewer agency. I mean, they phased them backwards, so I think it's phase 1 and 2
I think
out
for
here,
this
right?
bigger project, we could have got our numbers in order.
Okay, well, I'm only bringing this up to illustrate the importance of completing the sewer project. Because if we don't complete that, then that sewer doesn't flow south and consequently east to the Papio, Missouri Valley plant. And so therefore, no development will occur, because I highly doubt that we're going to be able to pump it north over the ridge line unless we get 10 levels of permission from Omaha and other stakeholders. So I just can't overemphasize how important it is that we finish what we started doing on the sewer project, and then shortly thereafter extend west toward Gretna. Because the growth is coming, it's just waiting for the infrastructure. So,
And I will say, just to add on to that, Commissioner, Olson has done a good job working with the county engineer's office, City of Springfield, City of Papillion. We've been looking at that road network in that area, and it's important to get sewer there. It's important to have a plan to have roads there before development comes or soon after. And so that plan will be probably finished up in the next couple of months, and we'll have to come to you to talk about how do we accomplish this. You don't see it on this map, but the ridge line kind of runs through here for the agency. This property up here, you're aware of the Rotellas is doing a new development. That's the Steel Ridge South development, and that's the last development that can flow to the north, and then everything else south of here has to go south to the agency.
Do we know what's going to go into the R&R Commerce Park South? I mean, or is it still in development under NDA?
I'll let Pat talk about that, but if you go out there now in the area that's blue, right to the east of that is a large warehouse, maybe two, that are already built.
Okay.
I don't know if Pat's maybe talking about the current and potential or proposed development and for R&R.
So it's going to be mostly warehousing, and so that'll involve a lot of trucks and a lot of vehicle traffic in that area?
Just ask them what the current development was and then maybe a future.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Pat Sullivan. Right now, lots 1 through 3 have been developed, which would be, well, actually lots 2 and 3, which is the lot in the corner of 156th and Schramm, and then the one that just is on Schramm Road. This one, the fourth one, is kind of right where that R is, in R&R Commerce. That'll be going down there. There's a total of 6 lots because of the gallon per minute flow. It's 122 gallons per minute, and after lot 4 under the modeling, it has hit its capacity. I've asked everybody to go to the bathroom before they come to work, and it hasn't worked out. But they're going to do some remodeling because that's based on an anticipated use. And these little warehouses have very few people in them, and so they're taking up a lot less capacity than what the modeling is. So if we can get past that, we'd go on and continue with lots 5 and 6. But if sewer gets online, then we're ready to go on those. And then they have also bought the property to the southwest corner and immediately south of it. So that road will then get again paved all the way down to the next crossroads. And the plan for all of that is going to be warehousing.
So Scott, just to clarify, the blue line will be concrete?
The blue line is existing concrete. That was
Okay, and the yellow line will be the new concrete?
Yes, and that'll be completed by this fall.
And at that'd be half a mile south of Schramm Road. Is there going to be any plan for a future east-west road there or not?
Not arterial road. You have Schramm Road, and then you can't see it on this map, but another
It'll
half
go down to
mile south is Capehart. Yeah, and so
but there is a plan to go down to Capehart, right, north-south?
Go to Capehart, and again, I apologize, this map doesn't show, but these properties actually connect to Capehart.
Right.
And those are under R&R's control.
And that area, that building in the south corner on 150th, that's existing, that is Facebook?
Let me pull that up again, Commissioner.
Right down there, down there in the corner of
Yes,
150. No, to the west of that. Just to the west of that. No, down south, right there. What is that?
That is the parking lot that Meta built to be able to do the construction there. I think that parking lot still exists. I'm not sure, but
eventually that'll all be developed as well, right?
yeah. So this is the Google site, the Travelers Data Center, which was one of the first ones we had.
Right.
Oxbow, in this area, and so many years ago, and it doesn't seem like that long ago, but the county pioneered Schramm Road. to open this area up for development. And we built that Southern Ridge sanitary sewer system to open this up for development. And you know, that's, it's happened and we've gotten the return on investment.
And the plan is to develop Schramm Road all the way to the interstate, correct?
Yes.
And will it go over the interstate? I can't tell in this picture. It goes over the interstate.
You know, right now you do go over the interstate. You connect at 168th Street. You actually Schramm to 168th Street North.
Okay.
And so that is part of what Olson is looking at, how that all connects with that road network there. Yeah, like Commissioner, like you said, and like Dan said, and Pat said, you know, the development is coming, it's imminent. And so we're really trying to get ahead of it and have a plan and figure out how we can get a certain amount of road infrastructure there, knowing that someday some of these corridors may be 4 lanes, but if we can get 2 or 3 lanes in to facilitate this development and point the development, show them where those corridors are going to be so they can match grades, match access points. It just makes it a lot easier to administer that growth when it comes in.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.3 is Resolution 2023-235, Sarpy County Policy and Procedure Manual amendments to standardize holidays across all employees groups, union and non-union, with 10 designated holidays and 2 floating holidays. Mary Davis, HR Director.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. If you approve this resolution, it'll modify the holiday provision in the Personnel Policy Manual. This manual covers your unclassified members, which includes department heads, attorneys, emergency management personnel, and bailiffs. And so at the present time, this group has 11 holidays, and this will change it to standardize them with all of the rest of the bargaining units, the 10 designated and the 2 floating. It'll remove Columbus Day and add the 2 floating holidays.
Questions for Mary?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Hey, Mary, I just have a question about the floaters. So you can float any day of the year. You can pick any day of the year you want. It doesn't have to be like Columbus Day or Juneteenth. It could be your birthday, right?
It could. With the
Okay, so
approval
you
of
just
the-
get to pick you get to pick 2 days a year that
that are important
as a
to you.
floater, right?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.4 is Resolution 2023-234, Personnel Rules and Regulations, PRR Amendments to Rules 2-County Employment, 10-Classification System, 11-Compensation Plan, 12-Types of Leave for the Classified Service, effective August 15, 2023. Mary Davis, HR Director.
So the personnel rules and regulations cover members of the classified service. Rule 2, county employment. With this change, Rule 2, county employment, it'll remove the Human Capital Committee approval for the filling of vacant budgeted positions and leave that with the department heads and the elected officials. Rule 10, classification system, removes the Human Capital Committee approval for new position requests and moves that approval for new positions to the Budget Committee. Rule 11, compensation plan, removes the Human Capital Committee assistance with department consolidations, if that were to ever occur, and moves that responsibility to Human Resources and to work with the departments, the affected departments, in order to work out those details. And then the final change is Rule 12, holidays. Again, standardizing those holidays with the 10 designated and the 2 floats. This group means the removal of Columbus Day and a half a day on Christmas Eve, and replacing those with the 2 floaters.
I just, again, on the holidays, sorry.
That's okay.
Just to be clear, so On the list, the Columbus Day is gone.
Columbus Day has been removed as a designated holiday.
So will the courthouse be open for business on Columbus Day then?
Yes.
Is that what okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
Item 5.5 is Resolution 2023-236, disband the Sarpy County Human Capital Committee, previously established by Resolution 2018-089, as the purposes of the committee have been fulfilled and processes for future decisions have been incorporated into the personnel rules and regulation. PRR, Mary Davis, HR Director.
Yes, approval of this resolution will officially disband the Human Capital Committee. That committee has been inactive for the last year, so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none. Sorry.
Item 5.6 is Resolution 2023-233, countywide personnel policy bulletins, inclement weather closure and emergency declaration, and alternate worksite policy revisions. Mary Davis, HR Director.
So the board-appointed personnel committee was tasked with reviewing the inclement weather closure policy along with the remote work. We retitled the remote work policy to alternative worksite policy. Just some of the highlights on the inclement weather. Sarpy County will remain open except for those extraordinary circumstances due to weather, floods, pipe breaking, things of that nature. If there is a closure declared, the county board chair will make that decision. We currently follow OFFIT's guidelines. We will no longer do that and put that back into the county board chair's decision. If the board chair closes county offices due to weather, employees not required to report to work will be paid for the day. The employees' mission essential personnel are public safety, 911, corrections, sheriff's office, public works, who are in charge of cleaning the roads, facilities with snow removal. Those employees are required to report and shall be paid accordingly. For all other emergency declarations, if an office has a water pipe break or something like that and that office needs to shut down, then the employees, if their employees are sent home, they'll be paid for that closure period. If it's going to be for an extended period of time, the county, we will try to figure out an alternate work site for those staff members. And you'll see in your attachments, there's two attachments. The first attachment is the policy that was approved by the Personnel Policy Board. The second attachment, 1B, was revised at the request of the county board chair, and it basically just clarified the definition of inclement weather, and it also provided some guidelines on what to look for during closing. So, like the forecast, the road conditions, things of that nature. We added that stuff into the policy, so we would recommend that you approve the 1B.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the County Board of Commissioners is adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioners.